Hi friends, so today I just wanted to share our next steps. I basically drew myself from observation, similarly from the proportion worksheet that I gave you of another made up head. So this is me while looking in the mirror, and what I did is I had to double check again, top of the head to where the chin line, how wide I am in comparison, as well as where that midpoint is, which is right where the eyes are. And I put really kind of light lines down. I didn't put anything too hard. And then I went over to ask myself, is that one-to-one from my hair duct to where the cartilage is of my nose? Hold that. Cartilage to the chin is about one-to-one. I asked the same thing, where the cartilage of the nose is to where the opening of the mouth is, and that was about one-to-one. Next thing that I did after that was I tried to figure out where the eye sockets were. So I'm just kind of observing myself now, and I realize that my eye sockets might come in a little closer to where the nose bridge line is. And I'm going to make that correction as I see it. So one thing I want to suggest is always start very lightly. Try not to go so dark and heavy, because there's always going to be some adjustments as needed. Great, so I'm going to take my time doing that. And now I'm going to work on shading. So as we're working, one thing I want you guys to think about is really looking at the highlights and the darks as best as you can, because that I suggest is how you want to start largest shapes and shades that you see. They're the easiest, and they also, when you find and are able to draw really intense kind of lights and darks, it's going to add more three-dimensionality sooner rather than later. And that's going to help us build our middle tones, which is, I think, the more challenging part of drawing in general, is finding those kind of variety of middle tones as we work. Alright, so one thing, as I'm observing myself, I see a lot of shadow like around my neck, so I'm actually going to start there, and just around my chin. It's not super dark, it's probably like a shadow 8 out of 10. And then it kind of is a little lighter. And please note how I'm handling my pencil. I'm using the side. Right, the side of the pencil, I'm kind of blending it. You want to do like kind of nice soft blends as you go. Skin tone doesn't tend to be really rough, so just take your time and kind of get the smooth blends as you see them. On this side of my neck, it's even darker where the hairline is, so I'm going to go for maybe like a 10. And here it can be a little tricky for most at first, but then it's actually, once we look at it in a way where it's just shapes and shades, kind of choppier kind of shapes and shades, then we'll see that there's more volume and natural heaviness, visual heaviness that we need so the hair feels full. Alright, so the shadow, middle shadow comes kind of curved this way. I'm trying to hug my form when I'm using my pencil. And sometimes as I'm looking, you know, again, I'm kind of doing it back and forth a lot. I'm not just kind of hanging out with my pencil and paper. I really am observing this mirror in front of my face the best I can, with some examples of natural shapes that are falling. So it looks kind of like a wave-like form. I mean, again, try not to get so caught up like, oh my god, it looks like I have some kind of weird skin disease on my neck, but you really want to try to accentuate what you see. And you're taking that risk, and then you'll see, oh yeah, this is what happened today in terms of the lights, how they hit, and keep going from there. So something that Miss Green talked about was soft edge shadows versus hard edge shadows. That's one thing that you really want to kind of assess as you're working. So there's a little bit more of a harder edge here. I'm just going to crisp it up a bit. If it's softer, it blends more and it kind of fades out a little more subtly. So I'm kind of moving up into my face. One thing that you also want to consider is, okay, so sometimes you see the shapes and the shades and you realize, oh yeah, that shape and shade looks a little different, so you might have to change the actual shape of your mouth. So right now my lips seem a little bit like more full up here, so I'm actually gonna expand it a bit more. No, another thing is this is slightly more rounded. Okay. So just keep in mind you can make changes as you go. Nothing's ever really permanent, especially in drawing. It's always a process. So again, still trying to hug that form as I work with it. I'm going to go a little lighter. And then I have hair, basically blocking half my eye hair. So that hair is a different shape, right? It's like a intense shape right there. I see some darker tones here too, kind of building up. I'm going to go into part of my nose on the side, on my right side, heading over for some darker shadows. It's kind of draping around the nostrils. It's kind of like just casting a shadow a bit. Again, try to find that subtle shape. And then there's like a number, maybe 5 shadow, 6 shadow. So, you know, I just want to think a little lighter. Still working slowly, methodically. And over here, a little more intense shadow, maybe about a 6, and then comes a 7. So I like to put numbers down. So when I say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10's the darkest part of the shadow, and 1's like, you know, a light tone, practically almost highlight tone. Because that gives me, as I'm actually saying that and I'm drawing, it allows me to know how much pressure, and it allows me to have better hand-eye coordination as I'm thinking about those shadow shapes kind of hitting my face a certain way. So no different than the bottle drawings that you guys did. We really wanted to kind of accentuate the natural magic that light hits, and how it drapes your face. If it does do something dramatic, you know, if it's there, you draw it. So, you know, we draw what we see, not what we think we want to see, or make up what we want. The whole point of this particular exercise is really drawing true to life and having that courage to do so. Makes us stronger for it.